Apple just launched their new iPad line consisting of new iPad Pros, iPad Airs, and accessories. I'll be picking up the 13-inch M4 iPad Pro for myself, along with the Magic Keyboard case and Apple Pencil Pro. I'm quite excited to see just how thin and light it is. This will be upgrading my 6th generation iPad Pro from fall 2022, and I'll be comparing everything to see if it's worth the upgrade. But first, a quick run to the Apple Store. While I get everything out of the bag, a quick idea of what's new that we'll be going over is the new exterior design, the new OLED display technology, the M4 chip, the placement of the front-facing camera, and the change on the rear-facing camera. Of course, I'll also play around with the new accessories for a bit. Before we jump into the unboxing, we're only going to be unboxing the new iPad Pro in this video. If you want to see the pencil and keyboard being unboxed, those will be uploaded in a separate short. Anyways, let's jump into the unboxing. I guess no Apple stickers this year. Now that it's out of the box and powered on, I'll bring over my current iPad and begin the setup process. The front-facing camera was moved to the landscape center, and the setup Face ID, it's prompting me to hold it in landscape, whereas before it would be done while holding it in portrait. This was done to help better center a person for a FaceTime or Zoom call. Fast forward to the next day, it took all night for all my data to be transferred over. But now that we are in, let's run a few benchmark tests and see exactly how the new M4 chip performs against the previous iPad Pro's M2. I'll be starting by testing the CPU performance both in single and multi-core. So far, just in the ability to run a test, the M4 iPad Pro has jumped ahead of the M2 iPad Pro. The M4 iPad Pro clocked in at 3 minutes and 59 seconds. And the M2 iPad Pro took an additional 28 seconds, making its testing time 4 minutes and 27 seconds. Taking a look at the single-core performance between the two, the M4 iPad Pro scored about 1,200 points higher than the M2 iPad Pro. If you ask me, that's a pretty solid performance upgrade when jumping ahead by one generation. There is also a decent bump in the multi-core performance where the M4 iPad Pro scored just over 3,200 points against the M2 iPad Pro. For the final performance test, we'll be testing the GPU, which is responsible for rendering graphics and user interfaces. The M4 iPad Pro finished first once again at 1 minute and 3 seconds, followed closely by the M2 iPad Pro at 1 minute and 8 seconds. Based on how the CPU score went, it's no surprise that the M4 iPad Pro scored just over 7,000 points against the M2 iPad Pro. Enough talk about performance. Let's dive into the new OLED display technology known as the Ultra Retina XDR display in Apple's terms. I'll reveal what iPad is which at the end of the section to see if you can guess correctly. The official name for the new OLED technology is called Tandem OLED. It consists of two OLED displays stacked on top of each other to increase the overall brightness and energy efficiency, making each pixel work half as hard. I would think this would help with overall battery life and make up for any lost capacity by making the iPad even thinner. The M2 iPad Pro is equipped with a mini LED display, a different version of an LCD display that can mimic an OLED display. The general difference between the two is the LCD display has an overall backlight that illuminates every pixel, whereas an OLED display has an individual LED light for each individual pixel. Seeing them in person and with some certain images that appear in the video playing, there is a slight difference. Let's see if you guess correctly on which one is which. Now let's talk about the rear camera change. On the M4 iPad Pro, the ultra-wide lens was removed and replaced with a larger LiDAR sensor. This may disappoint some, but personally I could care less as I never used it. For example, when I tap the lens switcher on the left side, it goes into 2x zoom on the wide lens, whereas the M2 iPad Pro would actually switch to a different lens, jumping out to 0.5 zoom on the ultra-wide lens. When it comes to video recording and photography, I personally don't see any change in the quality. Both iPads have the ability to record in 4K at 60 frames a second, and on the photography side, they both take photos at 12 megapixels. While we're on the topic of the rear camera, we might as well compare the overall thickness between the two iPads. Looking at it here, I'd say the M4 iPad Pro shedded about a quarter of its thickness, while also being slightly lighter. Finally, let's start playing with some of the new iPad accessories, starting with the Apple Pencil Pro. Let's go ahead and launch Notes, and start drawing some lines. Oh, whoa, that's actually pretty cool. There's a shadow of the pencil on the screen now when I hover. I don't know if you can see it that well on the camera though. Now how do you get the squeeze gesture to work? Oh, there we go. I guess the pencil has to be off the screen and then it pulls up the little mini toolbar. I bet if we switch over to highlighter, that'll work better to test the gyroscope. And then if I twist the pencil, oh, there we go. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. Now we'll go ahead and slide the iPad over to make room for the Magic Keyboard case. The iPad Pro magnetically attaches, providing power to the keyboard. Let's try typing something to get an idea of how it performs. All I can say for now is it certainly feels like typing on a Mac. Trying out the trackpad, it does have haptic feedback, making it feel like you're clicking something. The body of the keyboard is made of aluminum, improving on the previous version where it was all plastic on the exterior. Now do I think it's worth the upgrade? I'm on the fence for if you're using an iPad Pro from 2022, as it can vary on what you use it for. I haven't tried the new Final Cut camera system yet, and personally that's what will either make it or break it for me. But if you are using an iPad Pro from 2021 or older, I'd say it's probably about time for an upgrade if you use it all the time for productivity, or are just looking for a boost in performance and graphics with gaming. For now, that's all I have regarding the iPad Pro and its new accessories. I may possibly create another video a few months from now when I've had more time to use them and see what they're capable of. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up and a subscription so you don't miss any of my next videos. Until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one.